Hi, everyone, and welcome to our final live Zoom meeting. This is the beginning. Well, tomorrow is the beginning of week 4. So welcome wherever you happen to be, whether you're watching the recording here in Zoom in real time or in real time watching the stream on YouTube. You're very, very welcome. Please feel free, no matter what, to ask questions. Questions are so important in our lives in every aspect. So here as well. So here or in the support form, your questions are very, very important and valuable. So my question was, how are you? And where are you in the course? If you could add that in the chat, that would be interesting, not only to me, that I know anyways, but to others. We're going to get started. A little bit about me there. And you can see that I've been using Moodle since 2003. And I want to mention that I started NEP, Nellie's English Projects, in 2003, and that was actually the beginning of my online ventures as a webmaster or webmistress and everything else that came along with technology and using the internet. So what's ahead in week 4? Feel free to use the chat and chat away with each other. I encourage it because that's what I usually do. It keeps everything live and interesting. This is something that our students can't do, and we can't do as students in a face-to-face environment. We can't talk. We're supposed to be quiet, but here you can chat away and it's okay. So we're getting a sense of what you've been doing. Thank you for adding that. And I'm glad that you're here. So what's ahead in week 4? Well, week 4 has 2 parts. You will continue building what you're working on and your admin skills. And I hope you're feeling stronger and stronger. It comes with time, but you should be feeling it because you're actually using these skills. Week 1, part 1, week 4, sorry, part 1, you will be annotating a PDF file called Aminote. I think it's wonderful. It's completely free. It doesn't have to be used on the Moodle. It could be used off the Moodle as well. And you'll be working with a worksheet. You'll be able to try it out yourself if you're interested. You'll also, if you you need to first install the plugins. So if you're interested in any of these plugins and they're not there, but you do see them in the course on integrating technology, feel free to add them to NEP so that you can actually use them and others can use them. It's up to you. Whatever you install, whatever plugin you install is the one that's going to be there, and keep it there. You're going to explore the guide, the PDF guide, and complete a student worksheet. You'll also watch and respond to 3 additional video tutorials, 1 on the server, 1 on the reports, and 1 development. There's not much there in the development, but it's there, and you will be using it whenever there are problems. Normally, you don't use the development part. You'll also get a chance to ask questions. In part 2, that's the showcase and reflect, and you'll create an ebook, and you can use any. There are 4 that I mentioned, but you can use any ebook that you are aware of or you want to try, not just the ones listed. You'll reflect on the week's learning through Riff Bot AI, and you'll also get your certificate of completion. So part 2 doesn't have very much. So these are the tasks for parts 1 and 2. If you click on them, you'll be able to go there. And these are the digital badges. By the way, how many badges do you currently have? If you could add that in the chat. There's a question there. How long after the course finishes do we have access to NEP? Well, you're going to have access to NEP until the next badge, until the next course. So you have as much as you wish, really. And if you want more, let me know and I can keep you there. So let me know if there is a longer period. I think a couple of months. Keep me informed. So I see you've got the orientation, part 1, part 2 of week 1. And you've got, some of you have week 2 and week 3 as well. So I presume the numbers are the badges, not the months that you would like. And that's the final certificate. Going to go back now to what you'll be doing in case you have any questions. But before we do, are there any questions about the previous weeks? Any activities that you'd like more information about? Or you'd like to ask about other features? No? All right. So let's go into one of these so we can go into the course. Okay, you'll come up with questions. All right. So this is the PDF. And right now I'm in as the teacher of the course. So I'm going to switch role. This is what you will be seeing as the participant. So let's go back here to the server. So with the PDF, this is the PDF. It's Aminote actually, but it's called PDF as a resource. And you will see these two, open worksheet and download as PDF. And here it tells you a little bit about opening the worksheet. I'd like you to try it now if you can. Let me share the link with you. Let me copy it. Because I know, Elizabeth, you were able to log in and get into the worksheet the first time and the second time as well. And let me give you voice since you will be needing it and using it, hopefully, because I think it's a lot easier with voice. So if you could go there now and let me know if you can go in, because one of the participants is not able to, and I'm wondering if this has to do with the connection with the internet, because I see it rendering and rendering. And you can unmute yourself to ask questions. So you're there now. Okay, great. So
Yep. Yes.
it's working for you.
Aminote.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
It's a French company and it's free. You can also use it off. It's a great way. It's not just for PDF files. And if you install it on the Moodle, you'll be able to see what else is there. And I can add, I don't know if it's paid or not. I get it for free, but there may be a paid version as well. I think there is for the recording. Teachers can record their voices, and I think that's only for the paid, but everything else should be free. It's a way to collaborate, for students to collaborate on for example, PDF or a YouTube video, so that they don't have to read alone. They could have company while they're reading or watching if it's a video. Anyone else in there? If you're having problems logging in, let me know. And the information that you're getting there is information that was asked by one of the participants, which is why I added this. One was about, these were great questions. One was about the authentication using services, and I'll show you that. Second one was two-step email verification, which is called MFA, which I stopped. I just wanted you to get the feel of it, but I stopped it. It's kind of annoying, I think. And it's core, it comes with the Moodle. And then there's the Zoom or Teams Google Meet integration. Google Meet, the plugin no longer. It hasn't been updated, so it doesn't go with Moodle 5. But Microsoft Teams does. And I can help you with that since I've had a lot of experience and a lot of problems with it. So I learned a lot. And of course, with Zoom as well, I've got lots of videos on that. Even though it keeps changing, the plugins change, Zoom changes its policies, email messaging, and payments. If you want to get paid in your course for your courses, there are ways of getting paid. There's PayPal that works, even though it hasn't been upgraded. And there are two ways for PayPal. One is to have site long PayPal, and to have individual for teachers. You can let teachers get paid for their courses individually. It doesn't have to go to you as the owner of the Moodle. It can go to them individually. All right, so questions, read that and let me know if you have any questions on that, on the different features. These are extra features that were not added to the course. They were added because there was a question about them. All right, so let's go back into week 4. So these are the activities in week 4. There's a video here on the PDF annotations, the actual assignment. And actually, if I go in, let me go in, see what happens here. This is what you will see. You allow, notice that's the authorized authentication through this portal. Click on it. Note it also comes with a few languages. It's European, as I said, they're based in France. And this is the document. And there's information here. There's some videos here. And information on how to get the services. And there are questions here. Now, the minute you answer the questions, you can submit, and I get notified, the teacher gets notified, and then the teacher can go back and go over the student's work and grade if there is a grade. In this case, there is no grade. Any questions about Aminote?
Sorry, yeah, sorry.
Yes, go ahead, Robin.
No, I'm just sorry, just trying to work out our instructions on what we're doing. So I'm in there, I'm looking at exactly what you've got up on the screen. I'm looking at that on my screen. So
yeah, there's
Moodle
a
5
video.
admin site setup.
Yeah, there's an audio,
Yep.
sorry. There's an audio here. You play. Hi there. Let me know if you have any questions. If you do submit, make sure that you have something before you submit so I can relate to it. Thank you so much. All right, that was just an aside, but you can put instructions there, full instructions, and then you reflect on the information. So for example, if you've got a question here or a comment, you can go into one of these annotations. You can add text just by clicking anywhere and adding text. Hi, but you'll add more than hi. And then you add that. If you want to highlight, you've got different colors. Actually, that's an eraser. Okay, there's nothing to erase here. So let's add something. And we can, for example, highlight that. And if we want to get rid of it, we go to the eraser and we can get rid of it part by part or get rid of the whole thing by going into these. Okay, let's get it back, get it out there. Get rid of it like that. You can also write, okay, and you might want to have something a little thinner so you can write different colors, so you can write I never liked these very much, but students love them. You know, they write all over and they love using these. You know, I don't, but I prefer the A to actually write text using the keyboard. And then there's also a pen here. I showed you that, or I didn't, which makes it even easier. So, you know, if you want to write hi, Nellie. Okay, you can use that. Okay, not very good at it, but and you can save it. Okay, so it stays. You can export it as a PDF, Word, or as an Aminote. There is such a thing. And you can decide whether you like it or not like it. Okay. And I need more details. And then this is actually for them, for the company. You can also ask questions, lesson feedback at the bottom. And you can also add your notes, which is on the right. If you go into submit, you submit, and it'll go there.
So this then goes to your Moodle.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wherever you've got it set up to go. Okay. So with the information that's in this Moodle 5 admin site setup guide, that's information that you've just popped in there. Are we actually doing anything with that, or is that just to show us like?
No, it's to show you, plus it's for you to learn about these things.
Right. Okay, sure.
Because there was
Thank
a
you.
question about that.
Right. Yep. I'm
Which
with
I'd
you.
like to show you. Yeah. Any other questions about?
Thank you.
You're very welcome. About Aminote? Notice there are other courses that are here from previous times. This is the one that we're using now. The name is not here, I don't think. Even though I think I added it. If you look on the left, you'll be able to create space as well. That's up to you. You can also contact them. Are you satisfied? I love them. Okay, close. Any other questions? Don't be shy. Just unmute yourself.
So we would need to set up an actual account for this, though, wouldn't we? Because currently we're logged in through something you've set up.
Did you
Is that
try to
correct?
install it?
No, all I did was open up the link
Okay,
that you
so
put in.
you go into the site and you go, first of all, you go into Moodle plugins and Aminote
And do it through there.
yeah, it's compatible, and then you'll
Yep.
get it on your site and it'll know who you are because it's integrated into Moodle once the plugin's on yours. So you don't get an account before or something like that. You go through the Moodle. If you do it the other way, it's kind of confusing because they have, it's open without Moodle. Moodle is just an extra that they decided to do a couple of years ago. And if you ask them, maybe they'll give you a free, tell them that you're interested in trying it out. They're very, very open and they're interested in learning how it goes if there are any problems. So if you ask for a free, I'm sure they'll offer, or you can just mention my name and say that Nellie really likes it and you want to learn more about it, if you could get the features.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm sure they'll be happy to do it. Any other questions about this? All right, so we're going to go back. If you think of anything. So that's the server. it's not part of this. Well, it is part of the server actually, and I'll take it. These are, I think, pretty easy. And then there's showcase and reflect. Please check your progress, of course. And you can use any of these. There's also Hublou that you can use or any other interactive multimedia. All right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go into NEP. Let me know if you, what you see right now. Just curious. Do you see anything?
No, still see your normal, the course
The
page.
previous one?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, because I paused, I'm just wondering. All right, so we're back in the course. And let me resume. Okay, now you can see NEP, right?
Correct.
Right, thank you for that. Right, so right now, notice everything is back. And you have changed, thank you for that. You've changed everything. I noticed as you were working that you were changing things. Going to go into the site administration. You can see the colors keep changing because you're changing them. And I'm changing them as well. Because sometimes, colors are really, really important. And I think there's a whole, actually, you can ask ChatGPT, there's a whole art to it. And it's not just art and marketing, it's also accessibility. Not everybody sees colors the way we do. Some are colorblind and some have problems with colors. So they don't really appreciate the colors. Like yellow is not a color that's used that much. Green is generally gray, which is fine. So it's important to consider your users and how they will react to the colors or in general. So if you're interested in that, you can go into ChatGPT and ask what's a good color or what are good colors for a site, for the theme of the site. So let's go into the server. As I said, development, there's not that much here. What's important under development is debugging. But there's a debug that's better than debugging. There's a plugin. And if you go into Moodle plugins, you'll be able to get it. If you just write down debug, you'll get a nice plugin. And if you do that now, that would be great. Okay, Elizabeth is going to show us. Refresh it. You shouldn't see that. That's interesting that it stays for a while. If you go into the theme, let me go into the theme so you can see what's going on here. If you go into the theme, you'll be able to see the latest. I see someone's changed it. Let's go into, it's boost right now. Okay, and those are the colors. But let's go back and into themes and move. Let's select this one. Let's see what happens with the colors. Because you're probably, okay, let's see what's going on. I think that's classic. I'm under classic. I don't like classic. Classic is actually the old, this is what Moodle used to look like 20 years ago with everything on the left and the right. I think they're going to get rid of classic. So let's go into appearance and themes and into move. Oh, it's back to this.
That's
Oh, I
that
didn't
one.
really, yeah, somebody added it back to the brown. Okay, I think it was yellow and brown before, and now it's just brown. Yeah, this looks a lot better because the contrast is better. So if someone likes the earthy color, that's fine. I keep the default and I bring it back. But if you could do it, that would be great. Let me get it back.
Is that boost?
No, right now it's move.
Oh, okay.
So if I go back into move, I'm going to change it back. I don't like brown, sorry. So I'm going to add it to this. Oh, you can't see it actually. You can't see what I'm doing because
We're muted. Yeah, we can't see.
yeah.
We're paused.
Yeah, hi Lena.
Hi,
Yeah,
how are you?
thank you. I'm hiding it because I don't know why I'm hiding it. Okay, there we go. So now it should be back. Thanks for that, Elizabeth. But that I just changed it a couple of just before the class. So somebody was really fast. Okay, now let's refresh. Okay, that's the color that I want to keep it. I think that's the contrast is pretty good. And the thing is, the colors, if you notice the colors, the secondary, what is secondary is actually, in my case, it's the primary, because these are that's the darker one, and then the lighter one is at the top. But you get to learn this after a while. Okay, so let's go back to, I like the color of the, that's a good color for the links, because the lighter color, actually the initial color is some kind of blue for the links, because everything that's blue is clickable. So under development, the bugging is really important. Anybody get that plugin while I was talking?
I did look for it. I've
Couldn't
got that
find
many
anything?
links. Well, no, I found debug toolbar.
Yeah, it's
I just
debug
That's it,
toolbar.
is it?
Is that
Yeah,
for
a plugin for
5? Is that for 5? No, it doesn't sound like it.
yeah, well, it is, but 4.5 and 5, but
Oh,
it's a
it's 5
debug
too?
toolbar by Julian
Yeah,
Bolin.
it sounds
I don't
like
know if you
that
know
one.
who
Yeah.
that is.
Yep. Yeah, it sounds like that one. So if you could
Okay,
install it, that would be great.
sure.
So debugging is really important. Now, when do you debug? You debug all the time, actually, by going into, notice now it's none, and you go into developer. The problem is that when you go into developer, everyone gets the error messages, whether they're, admins, managers, or students. And we don't want students to get all these debug messages, these error messages that we get. So there's the plugin that I mentioned before that I have on all my sites. You can see it if I go into this course. Here, let me go into this one. You'll see it. There it is. Do you see the ant or bug? It looks like a ladybug, right? I don't know.
Right. Yep.
It's ad hoc debug. It's off. So you click on that, and then notice what happens. It's only for you, the admin. Nobody else gets. So you go into settings and you set it up for the developers, and nobody else sees it but you. And I think that's a lot better. And that's why Julian, if it's Julian, if we're talking about the same thing, here it seems to be called debug, but I can check it for you. And I think that's some
But
kind of yeah.
debug message. I'm just looking at your settings here. It's slightly different, but enable the debug toolbar.
I think
What?
it's the toolbar because it's here. It's always
Right.
here. Like everything
Okay.
else that's at the top right. So it is. And it's very, very useful. I highly recommend it. It saves a lot. And you do debug a lot because there are problems. I mean, the fact that Moodle is open source, things have been added to it since 2000, actually 1999. And that causes problems, and they can't go back. This is it. Um, so that's the development. What else is important here is purge cache. Now you had an activity on that. Purging cache, you do this all the time. You do it before you install, after you install. Whenever you fix anything, you purge after. And generally, you don't have to purge selected, you purge the whole thing. And nothing goes wrong. It can't go wrong. So don't be afraid when you click on purge, and it might say something like the site might slow down a bit. It could if it's a big site. And since I'm sharing on Zoom, that takes more. But all cache were served, and that brings everything back. So that's under development. Let's go back into development. I hope you realize how you do this. You keep going back to where you came from to see the rest, which is not very intuitive. And then there's what else is important here? Actually, that's it. And experimental, ignore that. We don't mess with that. And then reports. Reports. Everything here is quite important. Just go through it. There's the accessibility toolkit and see what's here. And you'll be developing, I think, 2 or 3 reports in week 4 in the first part. As far as the AI reports, there's nothing because we're not using it. You'll go into report builders. Now here's the MFA. You may have some results now since we used it a bit. And there's also, if we go into the MFA, notice here, if you need anything, you go into the search engine. That's your best bet. Under the MFA, it's multi-factor authentication. You probably understand the meaning of authentication. That's actually logging in, how people log into the site, how they authenticate their ID, or how the system recognizes them, accepts them, or doesn't accept them. So you can go through these. I suggest you don't try it out because you may be locked out. But I give you a chance to try. You can try the email. If you go into email in 100, we'll get back to what we were doing before. I disabled it, so you can play around with that. Actually, I don't think you can do anything wrong here. Yeah, you can because you're the admin. But you need to enable it for it to work, so don't forget to enable. I wouldn't enable the debug. You don't want to see bugs. Unless you like bugs, and then you can do that. Let's go into server. Now, server is more interesting because under server, that may not make sense to you why it's under server. But the most important aspect is at the bottom, and that's the authentication services. And this is what Nagwe asked about. Nagwe, I think you're here. And this is how you set up. There are explanations if you go into service provider setup instructions. On Moodle.org, you'll get all the information that you need. Some of the information may be outdated, even though it's for 5. Things have changed on Moodle and on Facebook, but it'll work. It'll work for you. So you shouldn't have any problems with that. You need to set up a developer console for Google. Google now helps, so it's quite easy, but you have to be careful because it takes time. And if you're in a hurry, I wouldn't do it. Microsoft is a little more difficult. You have to have Azure. It's all free, so don't go into anything paid. Facebook is also free, and it's actually APIs for all of these. You develop the API, and that's what they call you. They call you a developer as if you're developing an API, but you're not. The API was developed by a plugin, whoever developed it. Now it's part of Moodle core, but it used to be external. Nextcloud, I don't use, but if you use Nextcloud, LinkedIn works, but then it It stops after a couple of years unless you keep it up, but maybe I'll bring it back. Clever and Moodle.net, and you can have a customed one. What I would do and what I do these days is ask ChatGPT for information on this, how to set it up and everything else, and you can just follow it. Try it and see how it goes. That's generally the first thing I do when I start a Moodle site is the authentication. All my sites have it. I used it before it was core, when it was even more difficult. But Google makes it easy. Facebook also makes it easy. What else is here? Here you might be interested if you get stuck to go into these. And if you do have problems, if you want to ask, ChatGPT will also provide you with information. When will I need this? I would not touch this. It's set up by Moodle. I know a lot of people have problems because I follow people's questions in Moodle.org when they have problems. And I've never had problem because I always follow it. But if you're having problems, let me know or ask ChatGPT. There's also Chrome. And if you're not familiar with Chrome, you will be. And it's also done automatically. And on the server, your server manager should be able to do it. Or you can ask me at any time if you have any questions about this. Even after the course, I'm welcome. I'm able to answer your questions, except in June, when I will not be answering any questions. Let's see how that goes. I haven't done that in about 8 years, so I'm not sure if I'm able to not answer, but I'm going to do my best. So if you don't get an answer from me, you'll know that I'm doing what I promised myself that I would do, and of course my husband. Web services, you need to have this. External services. Yes, you need to have external services set up, enabled for a mobile web service. And you also need to get an idea. Notice all these have to be enabled. So on your site, you should have enable, and you go into enable and you enable it. All of these to have to be. And don't worry about the terms. You know, you don't have to really worry about these because they're all set up by Moodle. And if not, you just need to turn them on. And you'll get a message that something is wrong. And if that happens, let me know or ask ChatGPT or both, and you'll get your answers. And that's about it. I think there's, what else is here that you need to know? I think that's it. Cleanup, maybe you want to set this up. You might be curious about these and take a look at them. Performance, for example. Your memory, notice by default, it tells you keep everything to the default. Unless you have a big site, you don't need any more. Let's go back here. Performance, PHP information. You might want to take a look at that, or maybe not. You don't touch that. It's been done for your server. HTTPS, yes, I use, otherwise it causes problems. Notice you keep the default. You don't change it, even though there are other options. You stick to the default, and the default works. I mentioned Chrome, and I think you should know Chrome a little bit about it. Enable statistics, you might want to do that, but notice it takes extra work. The cron means that things work in the background. Like with a backup, I don't have automatic backups because it keeps everything working, and you don't want to tire your Moodle too much. Analytics, you can keep, let's see what's here, the form here. This is by default, keep the default. The cron here, notice you need to set it up on your server. It's probably set up, and that's how people get email notifications. That's Chrome. The blogs, I usually don't have blogs. See, everything here is the default. Just stick to the default. See, I didn't make any changes. Here I did make a change. You can take a look at that if you're having problems. That should be part of the Chrome. The PHP CLI is in your server. And again, there's the memory. Any questions about server reports or development? If
I
you're
have a
interested, yes, go ahead.
No, I just have a question with the default.
Yeah.
When there's a default and it's got a checkbox next to it, I get confused. There's a checkbox next to it, and let's say it says default no. If the checkbox is empty and the default is no, does that mean it is set at no, or does it mean you've got a ticket to be set at no?
You're talking about something like this.
Correct. Yeah. So that's ticked. So if it's ticked, okay.
Yeah.
So
If
currently
it says
now,
yes, that's a very good question. I've been
I know it's
asking this.
really
I've been
confusing.
asked. I know it's very confusing. I've been asking this for years. Even ChatGPT, by the way, gets confused. So, so like if it's default, yes, that means that if you tick it off, it's yes. If it's off like that, it means that it's no. But if it's a
Right.
no, for example, okay, let's tick this off because I want it to be yes. So you tick it off, okay? If it's a no, for example, default no, then you just leave it as is. But if
Unless
you want it to be yes, yeah, and that's confusing. And if you get confused next time, which you probably will, I would ask ChatGPT.
Okay.
I
So
would just take
basically,
this, yeah, I would just take this, add it to ChatGPT and ask it, what does it mean? Is it no right now or is it yes? And just make sure that, you know what I mean? You don't have
double check.
to tire yourself because this is
Yeah.
ridiculous, you know, and it's been like this for 20 some years, 25 years or so. And I think that
Couldn't
it's
they just
time. It
they could
makes
just
no
add a
sense.
second checkbox and you could just pick one or the other, a
Yeah,
yes or a no? Yeah.
exactly.
Anyway,
Exactly.
okay.
That's
So
right.
by ticking that box, you're choosing the option that is there, pretty
Right.
much.
Right.
Okay.
They're
Thank you.
suggesting, yeah, they're suggesting no. So if you want no, tick it off.
Right. Great.
Right.
Thank you.
And again, if you're not sure, check.
That was
Because-
yesterday my same problem with when I was enabling Gravatar.
Yeah.
If I took it off, it would not enable. Okay, so it says no. That means it was just so confusing.
I know,
Mm.
I know, I know. I hear you, and I've been facing this all these years, and it's there it is. Okay. So actually, like this, it's no. If you tick it off, it's yes.
Oh, hang on.
Okay,
No, that's
which is the
different.
opposite of what it's what I
Yeah.
told you at the beginning, and then I changed it. Right.
Now I'm confused again.
Okay, so default is no. Okay,
Mhm.
but in order to make a no yes, you need to tick it. But if it's a no, it stays no. If it's a yes, you tick it off to make it yes. So the problem is only with the no. Actually, you only have to relate to the no, because that's the
Okay.
one that's confusing. And then you know that when enabled, Moodle will attempt to fetch a user. If you don't do that, it won't get the gravatar, right, Lena?
When I ticked,
Yeah,
I
don't
took
forget
off
to
the
save
ticket.
changes.
When I took off the tick, it didn't get the gravatar. When I
Right.
kept the tick, it brought the gravatar.
Exactly.
So I learned, yeah.
Exactly. So maybe that's the best place. Go back to Gravatar and see what you did there and try to understand the ticking off.
Yeah.
When you
Okay.
tick it, it becomes a yes. And if it's a yes and you tick it, then it becomes a
Becomes
no.
a no.
no.
That would be, yes, that would be nice. And you can make these
That would be
suggestions.
best.
Yes, you can make these suggestions, by the way, to Moodle. There's a place for feedback. Let me add feedback. Let's see if it'll take me to the feedback. Yeah, there it is. You can add feedback. So you can enable it. Default is no, which means that they don't care. But if you, okay, and then if enabled, give feedback about the software. And this is Moodle, goes to headquarters, and so on. Okay, so if I save that at the very end, save. I should have a button somewhere if I didn't disable the button. I should have it somewhere. Okay, where you can add feedback. And you can decide when you want to be reminded of this feedback. And notice I also changed the support from feedback. I think feedback. So if you need help, I put that in. If you want to know how I put that in, I decided that you should take a look. And what have you mentioned? Appearance. Why do we need appearance? What's it for? Because of things like this, like the support. It's right here. Notice if I go into HTML settings. No, not that one. Sorry. HTML, additional HTML, sorry. I've added some things here, and this is the YBug. Terrible name, but there it is. It's free if you want to add it to your site. And you just add, you have to create it, then you get a widget, and you just paste it before body is closed. Don't add it at the top because you'll see it. But if you're interested in that, you can click on it, go into support. What I like about it is the fact that you can record a video clip or add it, or both, add a screenshot with your comments. And there it's powered by YBug, if you're interested.
So
in
where
that.
do you get that coding from?
The
Like,
what?
do you just ask the code, like what you've got in that second?
Oh,
like,
they provide you with that. You just copy and paste it
What's
from
the site?
YBug.
from YBug.
So you just go to YBug.
Yeah, you go
Okay.
into YBug, you get an account, and you set up for your site.
Oh,
So what does it, is this to ask questions?
If people come to your site and they have questions, they don't know how to log in, they don't know, before they're in a course or anything like that, they want to know about your site, or something is wrong with the site, something's not working. They
it's
just
sort of
write
like
their,
the support on Avenue.
yeah. Anything else about
I
the
have a question.
plugins? Oh, you're going to install the plugin, right, Robin?
Oh, I've already done it.
Oh, great. So we should see it here.
Vimeo is okay.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
I'm actually taking the link, the embed link directly from Canva, and it's working.
The live link. There it appears. You did it, Robin. It's
Oh,
now
yes.
it's now there. There.
Oh, there it
You
is.
can
Yeah.
see it. There it is. There's the bug. If you click on it, now everybody can use it. Well, it's not clicking. Okay, which means that oh, there it is. Now it's clicking. It's working. And there's the
So
settings.
when you search for it, it's not called debug modus on Moodle.org. It
What's it
is called was it user? Oh, I can't remember what it was called now. Hang on, let me look at it.
Can you add
User
it in the
debug.
link?
Maybe user debug.
Yes, let me add it to the link. I'll do that.
To
Yeah,
the
user
chat?
debug.
Yeah, that's
Can you
what
add to
it's
the
the
chat?
title is here. I never thought of it. But yeah, it says here user
Yep.
debug mode is active, which means that's what they call it. So the debug modus is just them. See what
Yeah.
these are developers. So why do you have two names? You know, why the modus and why now it's called debug? You know, okay, so go figure. You gotta be consistent. That's what we expect them to be, but they're not. Any other? Oh, I think
User
our time is
related
up.
debug.
All right, so our time is up, actually.
I'll just put
Thank you.
this into the chat.
Thank you so
There you
much
go.
for a wonderful course.
Yes,
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank
Thank you
you.
for
this
being
has been
part
great.
of it. And just
Learnt
realize that
so much.
you can continue working on it.